Welcome back, everyone, to the Unified Advanced League Winners interviews here. Of course, we did skip over week number 6, but we're back with week 7, the closing week of the regular season, here with the UAL for the 2022 spring split. My name is Orbital, of course, your host for these interviews, and we'll be talking with the University of North Texas as they did take a commanding win over Mint Gaming Mirage in the final week of the regular season. And now moving into playoffs, we get to hear their thoughts, their ideas, and some of the team interaction that we've seen over the course of the past few weeks. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Welcome, Sammy Silver, better known as Puerto Jew, to the interview desk, as we like to say, the ADC for UNT Esports. Sammy, if you'd like to go ahead and introduce yourself, I also know that you got a couple people in the background. If you want to name them off or if they don't want to be named, that's always up to you as well.
Yeah, hi. I'm Sammy Silver. I'm Puerto Jew. Over here is Lil Nate, and then we got Flick, and then we have Rainy. Arsenal's is not with us right now.
Okay, that's awesome. And of course, for those that may not know, talk to us a little bit about UNT and how this program kind of came to be. As of course, you are one of the very few, I want to say, college organizations actually in the UAL. It's not very common to actually see that here. And kind of talk to me about how you guys got into the UAL and how your team kind of formed up.
Yeah, so we were looking for another league to be in other than CELO, just in case the CELO one didn't go out so well. And well, the CELO one ended rather early for us, so now we're kind of taking UAL a little more seriously. And UNT, I feel like we're one of the older ones when it comes to league because we've had a league team for I think a couple years. I feel like 4 years ish. So we've been playing league and other video games for a while.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And is this now? The question is, UNT has had a program for a while. How long has this iteration of the team been around?
I've been here for 2 years. We've been all here for 2 years. We had a
Okay.
little bit of an overhaul from like 3 years ago to now. So yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So this iteration definitely feels pretty strong as well. I mean, pretty good synergy across the board. Game one, though, seemed a little bit shaky. Of course, a little bit of a rough time, but it seemed to get a little bit out of hand moving into games 2 and 3 here. I mean, how are you guys feeling moving into the series? We'll start from there.
Um, Going into the series, we didn't quite know what to expect because a lot of times it's kind of hard to know what to expect from teams in this division because they kind of have a lot of random picks. Like we saw NASA support, and they played Singed, and they played Garen. Like they have a lot of weird things, so it's hard to really expect much. But we go into most matches expecting to win usually.
I can definitely see that. You guys have a very dedicated play style. I mean, taking a look at just the champion pools itself, right? You were specifically on Zeri for 3 games in a row, blind picked it pretty much straight off the bat, said that was the thing. But also for Flick, on that jungle, very specifically, was on the Volibear. Of course, there are other options out there, but you two felt most comfortable with those two options. Is that something that you guys have been practicing the entire time, or is that just kind of what was available at that time, kind of saying, okay, well, this is all we really have to work with?
Well, we haven't scrimmed too much within the last week and a half, 2 weeks,
Mm.
and our jungler did mention that he thinks Volibear is really good, so we just kind of took his word for it. And I think everybody who plays the video game thinks Zeri is really strong.
Mm-hmm.
So usually if somebody says blind me this, we'll do it because then that means somebody else isn't blinding. So yeah.
And of course, always on the blue side as well. That was also something that I was very curious about because you had the opportunity to swap things up in game number 2. Game 3, of course, it was MGM's pick there. So taking a look here, do you just prefer blue overall because of that power pick, or is that something that maybe you change stuff up? Maybe you do have that red side counter pick in your pocket, or is it just a mix of half and half there?
We felt that blue side was just better for today, and then we were also pretty happy when they gave it to us again in game 3 too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Well, that's awesome to hear. Taking a look though, your specific play style, it seemed like a lot of the team does kind of revolve around that bot lane, at least for this series. At least, is that something that your team has kind of culminated in, as it seemed that the Zeri really was the make or break champion in that mid to late game for pretty much all 3 games, even in game 1, the loss, but games 2 and 3, I mean, getting a quadra kill in game 3, even helping to kind of solidify that final game.
Yeah, I do think that we do play around bot lane a lot, but we do also like playing around mid lane a lot. Usually we don't. We kind of leave top lane to an island until 8 minutes, and then We usually have a big fight there, and then we leave it alone for the rest of the game. Is usually what happens. So yeah.
I mean, we can kind of see that Arsenal's unfortunately getting picked on a little bit, and then you guys just hard diving bot lane. I mean, what were the comms like that outside? Are you guys all pretty good friends about it? You know, joking, or is Arsenal's like, come on, give me a little bit of support up here?
No, we joke about it. So does Arsenal's. He knows that like he'll always be like there's a lot of games in scrims or something where he might be like 0 and 3, 0 and 4 getting dove underneath his turret and he's like, nice job, nerds. You guys are losing your base or something." So like he knows that we're winning the game, so it's okay.
The pure salt move is, ha ha ha, I'm losing my lane, but you know, you're losing yours and all that fun stuff. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it so much. Taking a look as well, there was also what felt like a little bit of spite going on in the mid lane there. We saw Lil Nate be able to bring out that Yasuo in game 3. I gotta ask you there, or maybe you can even put Lil Nate on to answer this question. What was the thought process? Because I know it came out with the Malphite, but I mean, there had to be a little bit of tension there, right?
Uh, I'll go ahead and let him answer the
Hey,
question.
there we go. We got Lil Nate on there.
I would think
Alrighty.
Yasuo 3 because he picked it.
Oh, okay. In game three, well, initially we were not thinking for the Yasuo in the comp, but whenever they fourth picked on red side Chase, we knew that Malphite was a good answer to that, and since most of the mid champ pool was already banned, and he played Yasuo as well, it seemed like a good takeaway as well. And paired with the Malphite, it seemed pretty good. I guess the only thing we didn't take into account was the Silas pick after, but I think we accommodated with the lane swaps well accordingly. So
Of course, of course, and it's, now that we have you here and kind of taking a look here, I gotta ask about the lane swaps as well. As a mid laner myself, that's much lower rank than you. I gotta ask because watching the lane swaps happen is also very, I think, as a mid laner, one of the more frustrating things to come out of this. Was
yeah.
that something that you guys were expecting with the picks coming up, or was that something that you had to kind of deal with on the fly? As it seemed that you guys had it pretty well under control.
It's definitely one of those things you do have to consider, like even in draft, because you have to set your runes like properly. That's why me and Justin both just kind of like we're like, oh, what do we take? We're like, oh, we'll just take health runes. And initially, I was gonna take Ignite into the Silas matchup, but I figured Silas would want to match with the Malphite. So I already knew lane swaps were gonna happen, so I just took TP over Ignite in that situation because there was one or two times throughout the match where I had to like TP to like the mid wave to catch it or top. So it's kind of just playing accordingly to like the lane swaps. But it is very chaotic and sometimes unpredictable. So
Well, 100%. You guys did very well with that fact, and were able to pull it off. Thank you so much, Lil Nate, for going ahead and answering some of these questions for me.
thank you.
Yeah, let's go ahead
Do
and,
I pass it off to Sammy or?
if you don't mind, if we could go ahead and get it back to him, as we'll have one or two more questions. We'll have some fun. Yeah. So we were just talking about how awesome Lil Nate is, and it's all his job to carry the team all the way through, right? So
For
not
sure, for
definitely
sure. Yeah.
nothing with you, Sammy. But of course, taking a look overall, you could hear it even in the after the post game talk. Taking a look here, RMC Random Minion Caster gave you pretty much MVP of the series, and I think that's very well validated. How do you feel about that, or do you feel like the rest of the team was really there to kind of prop you up? What are your thoughts about that?
Um, I think I think game 2 and 3 I don't think I should get MVP. I think game 3 I was a pretty big reason that the game took as long for them to end as it did. But I think game 2 and 3 I mean yeah, I think Matt did a good job. I don't know what was going on. I'm just farming bot lane for 20 minutes. I'm just in losing matchups or fine matchups and I'm just coming out even or ahead. And then I just click tab and everybody has a bounty. So I'm just going to give it to my jungler. I honestly don't really remember what was going on.
All right. Well, there you go. Flick has been a phenomenal player, and especially against some of the competition moving in. So, my final question to you, Sammy, I gotta ask because, of course, this is the end of the regular season, and for your team, you will be making it in there. I do believe as one of the top seeds. Taking a look, I think second or third in that standing. How you feeling about that placement? Are you excited about the rest of the teams in this division as you are taking a look at a 16 team bracket here?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for the playoffs that's coming up ahead. I feel like we should expect to beat just about everybody that we play,
Mm,
especially considering the fact that some of the teams who were ahead of us in the standings. We were taking some of these games like they were scrims for CeeLo. We were trying out a couple things, but now that CeeLo's over, we're kind of taking this a lot more seriously. So I think that we're all really excited for what we could do in the playoffs.
Alrighty, well, thank you so much, Sammy, and to the rest of your team as well. Congratulations on the victory tonight, and I can't wait to see that confidence soar even further into the playoffs. Hopefully, you guys have an amazing run, an amazing time playing in it as well. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you.